So basically what you're saying is you're trash for not uploading more vlogs, is what you're saying to your audience.
Do you hear him roasting me? Anyway, today I texted my friend Joe, this asshole, and I was like, yo, wanna go to a book signing? Like randomly? Like tonight? And he was like, okay. Insert Cardi B here. I'm like, okay. So we're going to the Tahereh Mafi signing, and Ransom Riggs is gonna be there.
Low key, I'm here for Ransom Riggs.
Wigs.
Wigs.
Anyway, so we're going to the signing. Gonna be able to question Miss Mafi about Restore Me in person. I'm sure Whitney's gonna have something for me to say. I'm sure Sasha's gonna have something for me to say. So yeah, it's like 2 hours away, but who cares? Okay, bye.
Hopefully.
We are out here at the signing. How are you feeling, my friend?
Tired.
I bought Hollow City because I literally don't own it. Right? 166. We are at church. Thank you, everyone.
I think that naturally the first question is, you know, it's been a few years. What made you decide to return to the world of shadowing?
It's a great question. I'm going to pretend you haven't asked me that same question for 3 nights in a row.
I try to stray from that, but it doesn't work. That's the only good first question.
It's a great question. Well, I, as you well know, finished the series. I thought I finished the series some years ago with Ignite Me. And when I finished writing it, it felt like a really good place to leave them. And I genuinely felt like the story was over and finished. And, but I wonder now if it wasn't more that I was ready to move on. Because I think artistically I was really ready to do something else, to try something new, to tell a different story. And in the years between, I wrote very different books. I wrote some middle grade novels, very fantastical, kind of magical realism, third person omniscient narrator, kind of like a storybook feel, and it was so much fun. I really loved it. And anyhow,
Furthermore, and Witchwood, if you guys have not explored them, are truly amazing and so beautiful. I'll throw in some questions about those too.
but anyhow, I came back to the books I came back to the Shatter Me series because I'd been talking to someone about them, and this person asked me a question about one of my characters' names, and I couldn't remember, and I felt terrible, and I felt like I should know the names of my own characters, and so I went back and I reread the series from beginning to end, and when I finished Ignite Me, it just felt very clear to me that this story not only required a continuation, but that I knew what needed to happen, that I could see Juliet's development over another entire arc of books, and that she still had a lot of room to grow and develop. And it just felt really right. It was like I'd paused a movie halfway through, and when I came back to it, I just hit that button again, and they just sprang back to life.
Did you do anything, or have any challenges getting back to the voices of those characters?
Not really, which is kind of stunning. I thought I would, but when I dove back in, I did like a really deep dive, and they just felt so real to me that they just, I don't know, it just felt really good. You have been going through something like this yourself. For those of you who don't know, the 4th Miss Peregrine book in the Miss Peregrine series is coming out this fall, this October. And it's amazing, it's stunning, it's totally gonna blow you away. It's so, so good. I know I'm biased, but I really truly mean that. And it has been so interesting to be on this journey with you, to be in the same house as you, as we've both come back to a series that came out in the same year. The first books in these series came out in 2011, and now the 4th books in these series will be coming out in the same year as well. And
unintentional.
Totally unintentional.
Unplannable. Not something that 2 married people probably do very often. Talk about over the dinner table
very small target.
I was returning to, your series for a second trilogy going for you today.
Yeah.
Good.
But we had a lot of conversations about this because we were both going through, or actually I started first and he came to it a little later, and he talked to me about something he'd be going through, and I'd be like, oh, I went through that a couple months ago. And it was just really interesting.
So it's really helpful, actually, because even though they're very different books and different series, the experiences and challenges are pretty similar. Start off fairly close to where the third books in the previous series trilogy stopped, and yet they are creating a whole new arc and a whole new story. And so, even though it's a book 4, a lot of the challenges are similar to the first book. You're really starting over. You just have a cast of characters who you already know really well. Which is really, I don't know, for me it was like returning to old friends, who I had not seen in a while. And that was has been a really welcome experience and really fun. And I have to resist the urge just to hang out with them sort of on the page and, just like go get pizza and go to the mall with them, and then nothing dramatic happens in the story.
That was a great scene.
No spoilers! No, seriously, there was in a draft which no longer exists, like a whole chapter where they just went to get food and went to
Buy
Walmart.
clothes.
And the kids were just like, what's Walmart? So do you find it difficult to torture your characters in the way that's necessary to create?
I really do, though. I really do. It's so hard for me. I love them. Not all of them. Some of them are not great, but
in a fun way.
But in a fun, yeah. But it's really it really is hard. I genuinely dislike putting them in danger. I genuinely dislike writing violent scenes or difficult scenes or.
You're so good at it. I got blood on me just from reading the book.
No, it's a very happy book. But I don't like that. But you know what they say? It's like in fiction, they're like you have to run them up a tree and set the tree on fire, and then send a dragon after them, or whatever. Like you just have to keep throwing stuff at them, because as nice as it is to take them to Walmart, they can't just be at Walmart for 400 pages. Like something has to happen,
After they've survived the fire dragon, a little Walmart doesn't.
A little Walmart, yeah.
More contrast,
Like Voldemort at Walmart.
I love that.
For like 5 minutes. Gets a new cloak.
Yeah. I really wanted to send the Peculiar Children to Harry Potter World. Because they're in Florida. But I thought that might be like a trademark issue.
Also, he hasn't read the Harry Potter books. So.
What? I have! Shatter Me, and with Restore Me, it only grows and grows. Do you sit around and make little clay models of the reestablishment, or
no, but I
figure it out as you go?
It depends on. I don't know. I feel like I don't have a really focused some people. They make maps. They have artists come in and design little 3D models for them. Do you know this? Some authors really they go all in, and I feel like my answer is so underwhelming, which is just that I type stuff in a blank page. Do research, lots of Googling, reading books, looking at our current state of events. It's a dystopian novel. Very inspired.
Just load up the headlines and then start writing.
Yeah. What happened yesterday? Sorry, go on.
Let's see. Oh, this is a great question. So all the other books have been from Juliet's point of view only. And not only from Juliet's point of view, but present tense Juliet's point of view, a very narrow and Juliet-focused window on the world. In Restore Me, and perhaps the next 2 novels, we get alternating points of view with Warner. So you get one Julia chapter, you get one Warner chapter. I think that breaks open the voice and the storytelling possibilities of the books so much, and it's so much fun. What made you want to do that?
You just answered the question.
I could be wrong.
Right?
Be like, I just really like Warner. Well, if I were you, I would have said,
Yeah, well, how would you answer that question?
it helped me write more words.
Yes. Yeah, no, I did get a lot of questions about this because I think a lot of people thought that the dual POV was because I was gonna kill someone off. Like, you know, Juliet or Warner was gonna die and like only one of them could carry the POV, and that does not happen. That's not a spoiler. I'm
That's
just
so
gonna
terrible.
tell
I
you.
never even thought of that.
Yeah.
Juliet was going to die, so she had to have someone to
Carry on the story. Yeah.
Wow, you guys are morbid.
Yeah, right? So bleak. No, it's just Warner's POV just helps me break open the world. He has so much more information about the reestablishment, about its history. And also his POV is so different. His voice is so different from Juliet's. And I feel like when I was writing the first 3 books, it was hard to explain to people without speaking to them face to face that the writing is always a reflection of Juliet's inner state of mind, or her inner turmoil, or her state of mind. And the writing grows and changes with her. So in the first book, when she's extremely skittish and terrified and anxious and all these things, the writing is also chaotic and anxious and crazy, and there's lots of repetition and things are crossed out, and you know, instead of the numbers being written out, they're all these, they're actual numerals, and it's just, you know, very hyperbolic and intense. And as she becomes more comfortable in her own skin and she learns how to stand up for herself and find her voice, the writing also calms down and changes with her and grows with her. And introducing Warner's POV into these next books is sort of like a palate cleanser at the end of each chapter, so that it becomes this contrast against Juliet's voice and helps establish them even more clearly as different characters whose voices are intentional and intentionally written. They're not gonna die. At least they haven't yet, you know. Yeah, I mean, I hope that I become a better writer with every book that I write, and a more inclusive writer and a more woke writer all the time. You know, I always strive to do better and be better, and my world is very diverse. I have always lived in very diverse worlds, so I will always strive to
Make your fiction
reflect
look like
the real world, yeah. But you know, you want that to also feel authentic. I feel like you should write what you know, but also open your eyes to the world you live in and realize that, like, maybe even if you don't see that diverse world around you, maybe your immediate friends are not a diverse group of friends, just to know that they exist in the world that you live in, and to populate your books in the same way. I mean, I feel like that's such a big question to tackle. It almost feels like an injustice to answer it in a minute, but yeah.
No, I mean, I think your answer, that's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
If you could have any power from the universes in your books, what would it be? I think that's for both of us.
Is it? Okay,
Because
you go.
we each have a universe.
You go.
If I had to choose one of them, I don't know. Like, when I'm feeling shy, I guess I would choose invisibility. And when I'm not, I think I would, there's times I'd love to be able to make fire with my bare hands. But all the powers in my books have like sort of a really inconvenient side to them.
Like Millard being naked all the time.
You're so hung up on that. Yes, he's naked when he's in this.
It's like sitting on a leather couch, you know? It's Florida, it's hot. It's all I can think about. Sweating.
He sits on cloth couches. What about you? Throw that over to you.
He sits on cloth couches. We clearly lot of conversations about this.
When he's with his peculiar friends, he doesn't need to be invisible, so he's wearing clothes, you know.
But sometimes he's not. And it's very hot outside.
But only for, you know, because if someone saw it, it's just for the benefit of people not freaking out.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay.
For other people's benefit.
Wow, so it has to be a power in my own world?
Right.
Any of my books or the Shatter Me series?
Let's say any of your books.
Any of
Could be
my books.
Furthermore, which would.
In Furthermore, the main character eats flowers, which I think I put in there because I've always like thought that that seemed really cool. And you can eat some flowers.
I mean, I've been to that restaurant. You can eat flowers. It's just like special flowers, right?
She can eat any flowers. She eats tulips because they're like delicious. They just look like really delicious flowers.
But it's a special power because color has magic in your world. Trying to help you out here.
Listen, this conversation's going downhill. We should change tracks.
Oh, this was long. What advice would you give to aspiring writers on character development? I love the way that Juliet uses fewer and fewer strike-throughs throughout the series as she becomes more confident. I'm wondering how I can develop a character so effectively.
That is
Like
very...
that, a compliment built into the question. Encourage questions with compliments built in.
Thank you. That's very kind. Honestly, when it comes to character, I just think you should just pay attention to the people you know. Every single person I have ever met has been perfect and imperfect at the same time. Actually, wait, that's not true. The people I love are perfect and imperfect. But like everyone has flaws, everyone has complexity, everyone has layers. And I am most fascinated by those layers, by that complexity. I'm most fascinated by how people react to adversity. I'm really interested in that evolution of self over time and in the face of struggle and circumstance, especially when it is unexpected. So I just really like to pay attention to the people I know and to the stories I've heard from people I know and my own experiences. And I think that when you're writing characters, they just need to feel real in that way. Beyonce! That's a great one, thank you!
Quick explanation so y'all aren't confused. She was answering the question, what celebrity would Juliet look up to, I believe. Okay, yeah. Back to the footage.
Thank you. This is not fast.
I totally abdicated my role here. I'm just handing you the question.
Who's the easiest person to write about? Kenji. Hardest person to write about? Ooh, mean people.
That was a long time ago. What is one song to describe Warner and Juliet? What would be their song?
Like a cute song?
Crazy in Love.
Just
Crazy in Love.
crazy.
Or would it be No Scrubs?
God, these are not fast questions.
Can you
I'm
sing
kidding.
No Scrubs?
Yes. Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, I like this. Okay, this will be our last question, I promise.
Okay.
Now, I know you said 5.
She's like, get off stage.
The word of furthermore is very intricate. And what was your inspiration for creating this world?
Furthermore?
And all its beautiful complexity?
Oh, that's very nice. This is not about Restore Me or Shatter Me.
Is that bad? What is your favorite thing about Warner? Whoever asked the question about furthermore can ask her at the table. What is your favorite thing and least favorite thing
About Warner?
about Warner?
Favorite thing about Warner, his closet. So, like, real truth, full disclosure, guys, I actually relate more to Warner than I do to, like, any of the other characters in the book. No, I mean, there's a lot of me and Juliet in some ways, but I'm also, like, I can be very taciturn. Anyway, his closet is great. I love his closet. That was definitely a dream of mine. I really love those clothes.
Where does he get his clothes? I mean, there's no mall.
He has a tailor.
Does he also employ like Heider Ackerman to design his
Oh,
clothes?
can you imagine? Do you guys know who Heider Ackerman is? It's just a dream, one of my favorite designers.
Google.
Anyway, yeah, no, he has like a guy who comes and like measures him and makes him clothes.
Oh, that's boss.
Yeah. We've never talked about this, but that definitely happened. It's like made to measure.
I assume if he drove a car, he'd have like a coach maker as well.
Yeah.
There's no AutoZone.
So nice. AutoZone.
What's the Carnation? What's that place called? The like huge mall of cars. This is a weird place to end. Anyway, like Warner has everything custom made, bespoke. That's Warner.
What is your?
It's also my least favorite thing about Warner because I'm jealous. And that was our last question.
Wait, no. Last question
Okay.
is. I feel like we're ending on a bad note. How are you going to be at BookCon this year? Yes. We'll both be there, actually. Anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll see you at BookCon, and we will.
Yeah.
We're gonna, I don't know, figure out a table situation. We're gonna sign a lot of books.
Hello, so obviously I am home now. It took a while to get back. It was like a 2-hour or something like trip away. A little less on the way home because no traffic. But yeah, hopefully I got some good footage. Honestly don't know how good it was because I was kind of at the top and there was tall people in front of me. Most of it I had Joe filming just because he had a bit of a better angle. But yeah, hopefully that was interesting. Hopefully the sound is okay. Like I said, I haven't watched it yet, so we'll see. Tahereh was so sweet. It was so amazing meeting her. I got Ignite Me signed and personalized, and Shatter Me is also signed. And then because Ransom was there as well, I got Miss Peregrine's signed and personalized. And then to like get into the signing line, since I already own all of Tahereh's books, Restore Me's coming in the mail. Barnes & Noble, hurry up. But to get into the signing, since I don't own Hollow City, I was like, perfect time to buy it. And Ransom signed that one as well. Also, I just want to say sorry to Ransom Riggs. I know he's not watching this, but when I was at the signing, I just, you know, I went up to the table and my mind was so just like focused on what I was gonna say, because I was like, oh, Restore Me, you know, I've already read it. There was like not that many people there who has read it, which I guess it makes sense, it's only the 9th, but I was like, I FaceTime my friends Sasha and Whitney, and obviously she knew Whitney because it was Whitney. I was just so focused on like saying what I had to say that I didn't say anything to Ransom. Like they gave him like the signing lady who hands them your books obviously handed him the books, and I was looking at Tahereh the whole time, and I only said anything to Ransom when I was like walking away and he like handed me my books and I was like, thanks sir. I hate being so awkward. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this Restore Me tour Tahereh Mafi signing vlog clip. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you went to one of Tahereh's signings, I hope you have a great time. If you're thinking about going, I would highly recommend it because it was great. She's amazing and sweet and beautiful, and yeah, it was just a good time. So that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye. I almost did like a because Whitney owns my ass, but